In this chapter so far, we've looked at how Asterisk handles call queues, set up a call queue of our own, and examined static and dynamic queue members. While queues in Asterisk can be very simple, there are also many ways that queue behavior can be precisely tuned. We'll cover several advanced queue options in this module. The autofill option dictates whether Asterisk will try to simultaneously connect to more than one call or not. To illustrate, we have a scenario with 5 queue members and 5 calls that have all entered the queue at the same time. None of the queue members are currently on a call, so they are all available to receive calls from the queue. Autofill will determine how these calls get distributed. If autofill is set to no, it means that the calls will be answered strictly in the order they were received. The first call will get distributed to the first available queue member, and their line will ring. Even though there are more queue members available, none of the other calls will be distributed yet. Instead, they will sit in the queue until the first call is answered. Once the first call is answered, then the second call will ring the next available queue member. If the second queue member does not answer the call, then after a timeout period, the call will be distributed to the next queue member. This process continues to ring each phone in turn according to the ring strategy of the queue until the call is picked up. Only after this call is picked up is the third call distributed. Pragmatically, call centers disable the autofill option when they need to answer calls strictly in the order they are received. You can see this is inefficient because calls can wait in the queue despite the fact that there are available queue members. Alternatively, we can set the autofill option to yes. Just like the previous scenario, there are 5 available queue members and 5 calls queued. The first call is distributed to the first available member and begins to ring that device. Now, instead of waiting for the first call to be bridged, the second call is immediately distributed to the next available queue member and so on down the line. In this scenario, it is possible for the second caller to have their call answered first, even though they entered the queue after the first caller. In fact, if the first member becomes unavailable and all the other members answer their calls, then the first caller will continue waiting at the front of the queue until another member becomes available. In practice, this doesn't often happen. Usually, setting autofill to yes results in lower average hold time than setting it to no, but there is a possibility that calls can be answered out of order and that some calls can have a higher individual hold time. If it's necessary to guarantee that calls will be answered in the strict order received, autofill should be disabled. In Asterisk 1.8, the default behavior is to enable autofill. Queue members often belong to more than one queue. In this example, our sales representative takes calls from both the North America and Europe call queues, each with a wrap-up time of 30 seconds. When a call in the Europe queue ends, a member will be given 30 seconds before receiving another call from the Europe queue. However, when shared last call is set to no, Asterisk does not share wrap-up time across queues, so the member could immediately be rung with a call from the North America queue. To change this behavior, we can enable the shared last call option in the general section of queues.conf. When shared last call is set to yes, Asterisk treats wrap-up time as a global rather than per queue option. The member will get the full wrap-up time before being rung again by any of the queues in which they are a member. Shared last call defaults to yes in Asterisk 1.8. Next, we'll look at a related pair of options. Joinempty and leavewhenempty can be used to prevent callers from waiting in a queue when there are no members servicing the queue. Setting joinempty to no keeps callers from joining a queue when no members are present, and setting leavewhenempty to yes makes callers leave the queue if all its members leave. If a call is unable to join or is made to leave a queue, it will continue dial plan execution immediately following the priority where the queue application was called. The queue status dial plan variable will give an indication of why the call could not be queued. In most queues, it's preferable for Asterisk to refrain from ringing a member if the device is already on a call. The ringinuse option controls this behavior. Here, the queue member is a 2-line SIP phone with a call currently active on line 1. With ringinuse set to yes, a call from the queue will be distributed to the member and begin to ring them on line 2, despite the fact that they are already on a call. Setting ringinuse to no tells Asterisk not to ring a member if they're already ringing or on a call. The option call counter equals yes must be set in either the general or per peer sections in sip.conf for the ringinuse option to work properly. In this module, we looked at several important queue options that customize exactly how and when calls are distributed. Please realize there are many other ways to fine-tune Asterisk's queuing module, including options related to automatically recording queue calls, setting ring timeouts, and configuring the frequency and content of various announcement messages. As always, the sample configuration file is a great resource to learn more about these options. This concludes the technical content in the Asterisk Essentials course. Up next is a final brief module where we'll offer some next steps and practical insight on what to do with the knowledge you've gained in the course. Thanks for watching.